24 of live with Serious Migration with the latest Australian immigration news and updates. My name is Isuru. I'm an Australian migration agent, and I've got Ashani Yapa right next to me, and
also Australian registered migration agent.
So, welcome to our session. Today we're going to focus more on frequently asked questions. Let's talk about. We'll pull out some of the questions that you have asked during last sessions and also during the week. We picked up some frequently asked questions. This week we have the Victorian and Western Australian states open and Migration Queensland, right? It's used to be called BSMQ, Business Skill Migration Queensland, previously known as. They're expecting to open end of the month as well. And so let's talk about what it means, what visas we need to focus on, who's going to benefit out of them, etc. So we'll talk about the benefits for general skill migration sector as well as how it's going to affect to business migration as well as other visas like Global Talent Independent. And when I talk about that, when I say GSM, General Skill Migration as in 189 or state-sponsored 190 or regionally sponsored 491, which you get 15 points from the state. And we'll slightly touch base on work visas such as 482, 494, 186 sectors as well.
And also the business visas as well. So if this is your first time tuning into our channel or watching our live video, what we normally do is we answer as many questions as we can and we talk about the latest Australian migration trends and visas. If you have any questions for us, please post them in the comments box so we can answer them for you now or later on. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number is 13,74787.
So 13,000 Cirrus.
Yes. Or you can email us admin@cirrus.com.au. Without taking too much time, we will now go to the questions that we had during the last week. As you all know, it's a new migration year and a lot of new changes have come and people have a lot of questions, obviously.
So these are a summary of some of the very commonly asked questions.
Yeah.
So the question number one, hello, about South Australia nomination high performing graduate stream. Is it mandatory that the South Australian qualification is in the same field as the nominated occupation?
So the answer is yes. If you're going to nominate an occupation and obviously your qualification and skills assessment comes from it and that has to be in your nominated occupation, that is right.
This is for the high performing graduate stream.
Yeah. So we will go to question number 2. Do you think cutoff points will remain same or go down as it was in previous years? My file for 189, 190 was not picked up with 75 and 80 points.
Not sure which state that's
from. We are not sure which occupation or which state, but in general what we can say is last time when the states opened, it was like in the middle of a financial year and they opened with interim quota, which means it was not the full allocated quota for that year. Because of that, they only had limited places. They put the selection criteria a little bit higher. That's why all these chefs wanting 3 years experience and different states came up with different criteria to fulfill their biggest demands. So I believe now the states are opening with the normal criteria or the normal quota. Hopefully these numbers will go down because they have more capacity. But it will also focus on COVID-19 recovery and most of the future target sectors, as you already know, and also the PMSOL, which is the priority list.
Yeah.
Question 3.
Number 3. Hi, I'm in Queensland, Cairns. Very good, far north Queensland. Doing my, there is a bit of a spelling mistake there. Sorry for that. It's JPR, it's JRP, Job Ready Program. Are there any chances for 190 visa Queensland after getting my full skill assessment with 75 points? So
Again, we don't know which occupation. Job Ready program is for all trades. So it could be a mechanic, could be a chef. If it's a chef, it's very good because chef is in priority list as well.
So
Especially if you're in far north Queensland, you do have the option for 491 or 190. With 75 points for 190, there's still a good chance. But it all depends on not just the points. What I want you guys to understand is point is just one criteria.
yeah,
It
it's
depends
199,
on
190, 491.
your age matters, your English matters, your experience matters. It matters how long you've been in the state. It matters if you have studied in the state. So don't just focus on points. Points are good, but there are lots of other things
streams
as
you
well.
can- And also one other good thing, I hope you're a chef actually, because if you're in Cairns, you're in far north Queensland. Far north Queensland's got a really good Dharma program. Even if your age is over 45, you still have permanent residency pathways for a chef up to 50 years. Certain occupations such as sales and marketing, they get up to 55 years general skill migration. Sorry.
Not general skill migration,
Employee
employer-sponsored
nominated
migration. But it's
So-
a really good program. Far North Queensland is great because, as we can see from all these lists and all these concessions, they are looking for people for Far North Queensland. So stay there and get through
Build
your
up
job
your
ready
qualifications
program.
and get
Yeah.
more qualified in your industry, and that's one of the
Yeah.
best way to improve your chances to become a permanent resident. I would not recommend to carry hopping.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Well, he's already doing the job ready
JRP,
program.
yes,
I don't
sir.
think you'll be karaoke. Okay, let's go to question 4. Hi, what about skills not mentioned in PMSOL? Can they still apply for the visa? My skills are software engineer.
So your
I think this is a
PMSOL.
really, really good question.
Yeah.
Because people are confused around this PMSOL. What is it and how does it affect you?
And who does it effective for?
Yeah, I'll just take a couple of minutes and quickly explain. So, okay, one thing PMSOL, how it affects. PMSOL
Let's get
to
the PMSOL.
begin with
Yeah.
is the priority skill migration occupation list that they have come up with, where they believe they are in the highest priority for Australia. Some of the occupations are mechanical engineer, software engineer, maintenance planner. Most of the health occupations are there. If I'm not wrong, there's about 41 occupations in
Yeah.
there now.
Altogether.
Okay, so I will talk about how it affects employee-nominated visa. When I say employee-nominated, what I mean is subclass 482, 186, 494. So those visas, if your occupation is in this list, what it means is your visa application will be given priority. So that's exactly what it means for employer-nominated. So it's a really good thing. If
If the person is offshore, you also will be given an opportunity to apply for the travel exemption, and you'll be able to travel in. And also they will take it as a priority, so your application will be processed much faster and much quicker than
someone who's not in PMSOL. So that's
So
employee nominated.
it's got not much to do with actual 189, 190, 491 categories, even though certain states use that as use PMSOL as a guideline for some of the nomination programs.
Yeah, for example, last time when Queensland opened, they said if you're in PMSOL, you can get 190. If not, you could only get 491, given that it's in sort of like an extended PMSOL, extended list of occupations that Australia needs. So even if your occupation is not in PMSOL, you still have a chance for skill migration, which means the state-sponsored 190, 189 and 491. For example, Victoria is currently open for ROIs. So
That means Victorian government is Victorian state is open for 190 and 491 visas. We call it ROI, whereas certain states call it an EOI.
Not
No,
really. With Victoria,
Yeah.
the first step is lodging an ROI, which
Request
is
for-
Register of Interest.
Yeah.
You have to have a EOI in the system, and then you have to register your interest to be picked up. And what they have done, they have selected target sectors, and you have to be working in these target sectors. If you look at the target sectors, it's not really the PMSOL. So it doesn't
It's
matter
very broad.
whether your occupation is in PMSOL or not for Victoria.
It's mostly COVID-19 economic recovery in that way. It's
That's right.
It's pretty much more like GTI in a way as well.
Yeah.
So when you get the target sectors, it's not that sector, or you don't have to have a technical knowledge. For an example, if you say medical or hospital, then you don't have to be a doctor or a nurse. You could even be a accountant who works in hospitals, or you could be a statistician who's collecting this data about
Yeah.
certain sector sort of thing.
So to answer this question, what it means for the PMSOL, really it's just an indication of highly sought after skills. It doesn't mean that your occupation has to be on this list or you are done for it. It's not that it means that. So that's the answer to question 4. I hope it
Sometimes-
made sense.
These days it's very dynamic, very fast, and there's a lot of updates, a lot of jargon. So clients always have this confusion. My friend said this, my one advisor said this. I've been to 4 different advisors, and these are my... don't get carried away. Just focus on what you're doing and just find out your unique
Get some
pathway
professional
through.
advice and stick to it.
Because your pathway for yourself, even though you probably would have done the same course like someone else or same experience with someone else, your pathway could be different because there's so many other factors that comes into. So seeking professional advice in that way is much more important than listening to
Okay.
certain discussions. Yeah.
So we'll go to question 5. Can I apply for 190 visa directly instead of going for the 491 visa? I have 75 points and my occupation is in PMSOL, Queensland. Yes, so
Definitely.
to answer your question, even though you live in and work in regional area, if you don't like 491, you can select 190. But I want you to understand that
There are
if you
difference.
select both 491 and 190, you will have much better chances of getting an invitation.
Yeah.
So we've had cases where client first got the 491 that we managed to sort of get a 190 invitation later on. So if you're really looking to get an invitation this time around, if 491 is an option for you at all, I would suggest you to pick both, because you can do that you can pick both 190 and 491 in the same EOI. You don't need to lodge 2 EOIs to do
So
that.
there's differences in the input levels and the output levels as well. In the input wise, if you got 75 by yourself, if you go for 190, your score's going to be 80 points. Whereas if you go for 491, your score's going to be 90 points. So the outcome wise, 190 or 190 visa gives you permanent residency and straight away. So you'll be living in anywhere in that state. Whereas if you get a 491 visa, you'll have to you'll be getting a provisional visa for 5 years, and then with the option to become a permanent resident through 191 after 3 years. So it's not straight permanent residency, and also you'll be required to live in a regional area. So the good thing though, you're in a pathway to permanent residency, so it's still not a bad thing. It's not it's not like you're living in a limbo without having a proper pathway.
Yeah,
So-
what I tell my clients is always consider your age. see if your skills are expiring, see if you're going to go to the next age bracket and you're going to lose points, or see if your English is expiring and you're not willing to do English again. Consider all those things and see when your current visa is expiring. If it's expiring in the next 6 months and you don't want to go to another temporary visa, and you shouldn't be too picky. So consider these things. If you're very comfortable and you have plenty of time in Australia, then you could be picky and go for 190. So always consider your personal situation before you decide.
190 gets you an exit point for sure, and gives you more benefits at the end. But also, if your points are competitive and if you have a doubt, or if you don't want to miss out in one invitation round, it's always wise to put yourself into 491 list as well.
Plus
so you'll
190,
have
yeah. So let's move to question 6. Which countries are exempted from the mandatory quarantine in Australia?
So Australia is and New Zealand as well.
No, every country I think you have to, unless you're in a travel bubble, you don't need to quarantine. Other than that, if you come from any country, unfortunately you have to quarantine, and sometimes if you come from different states now, you have to quarantine as well. Make it little worse.
So
let's go to question 7. I think that's our last question for today. With time passing,
What if I submitted my EOI in late June 2021? Am I subject to the old requirement or the new requirement released in July 2021? So when you say an EOI, it can be an EOI for a business visa, or it can be an EOI for a general skill migration.
I think we have clear answer to that. For business visa, if your EOI is lodged before 30th of June, and then they give you an invitation before 30th of June, then you're only bound by the old rules.
So 188A previous rules, where
all the 188's previous rules, but
with the $500,000 turnover requirement and
all
asset
the
being
changes.
7.
There's a video I've done for 188 new points table and also the new changes.
It's
if you're interested you can have a look. I think my team will put the link in the comments, then you can have a look at that. But if you lodged your business EOI before 30th of June and got the invitation after 30th of June, then you will have to obey by the new rules. This is for business visa. With skilled visa, what they have done, all the states are closed, so they are not giving invitations. So you will have to lodge a new EOI for most of the states. For example, for Victoria, I'll talk about the states that are open.
And Western Australia?
Yeah, you can talk about Western Australia. I'll talk about Victoria. So in Victoria, 7th of July, they opened the new ROIs. So this time, it's not going to be the ROIs open for a week and close. It's not like that. It's going to be open from July this year until April next year. So you can lodge ROI anytime. With the new ROI, you don't have to lodge a new EOI if it's not expiring in the next 12 months. So what it means is, because it's going to be open for 12 months, your EOI has to be valid for the next 12 months. If it's not, then you have to lodge a new EOI. Whichever the way, it's going to be the new rules. Because for skilled migration, each time they open, they come up with their own set of rules.
Yeah.
So the key rules don't change, like you need 65 points and things like that. But the state defines their rules every time they open their state.
So 65 points is mostly a federal government requirement. For you to be eligible for the program, you need to have basically 65 points, age below age below 45, IELTS or English, competent English, IELTS 6 in each band or something similar. So those rules are federal rules, and when it comes to 190 or 491, it's then get back down to per state.
Do you want to talk about Western Australia?
Western Australia's good thing at the moment is Western Australia is open for first of all, and they have Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 requirements. Schedule 1 is mostly considered. I don't know if we have the list there to show you, but no, right? We can't get the list. Yeah, that's okay. So we weren't ready for the list, but list Schedule 1 is mostly all the medical related nurses, doctors. I don't know the names. Dentists, gynecologists, general practitioners, hospital pharmacists. It's a very broad list. And the second one for the Schedule 2, you have accountants, aeroplane pilots. That's a very good one actually. Pilots been hanging out there for a while. So pilots now have an opportunity to 491 through Western Australia. There's a broad list again. You can check it up or if you, in their website, or you can ask us further questions. Basic requirements for this is you need to be living in Australia. Again, Western Australia is not considering any offshore clients, and you cannot have Section 48 bar. So very common rule with most of the state these days. You cannot have Section 48 bar, and also the onshore requirement. If you're from Schedule 1, which is all the medical, then you need to have proficient English, which is IELTS 7 in each band or similar, in PTE or TOEFL, OET. OET is included for Schedule 1 too, so which is another good one. Cambridge C1 is also included. So everyone else required to have competent English, which is also the federal government requirement, IELTS 6 so in each band or in or similar. You need to be able to claim 5 points or 10 points out of the skills for work experience sector. So you need to have at least worked in Australia within last 10 years, at least for 1 year, or outside of Australia within last 10 years for at least 3 years. So you need to have that, and then you need to have a full-time job offer with a minimum of 35 hours per week. So if you had the opportunity to stay in postcode 6041, 6044, 6084, 6207, 6213, 6215 to 6537, and 6560 to 6770, then you can go as the regional Western Australian list, which is even larger. Again, with Western Australia, you have to demonstrate that you have the financial efficiency or financial capability as the settlement funds. The main applicant, if you're single, you only need to show 20,000. If you 20,000 Australian dollars. If you are married with no kids, then 30,000. If you're married and have kids, 30,000 plus $5,000 per kid as the financial capacity. So they're the basic rules for Western Australia. It is open and it's got a great list, a very long and wide list. I didn't take up much time to read all the occupations, but Western Australia is a good point, and we are expecting to have Queensland opening up very soon too. So
I'll now quickly go through the Victorian requirements. It's
Ashani is going to talk about Victoria now.
Yeah. So for Victoria, both 190 and 491, they have a very selected area target sectors that you must be working in. You have to first lodge your EOI, unless it's expiring. It's not expiring in the next 12 months. Then you have to lodge a register of interest. You can only have one ROI at a time under your name, and you have to be living and working in Victoria. It's very important. You have to be living there and working in order to get an invitation. If you're applying for 491, you have to be living and working in regional Victoria, and you have to be working in one of their target sectors. I'll go through the target sectors very soon. And you have to be, of course, under 45 years of age by the time you get an invitation. And you have to have at least competent English, a valid skill assessment, and have at least 65 points. I'll now go through the Victorian target sectors.
This is very important. Please understand which target sectors you're working in, and then regardless of your occupation, if you're working in that target sector, you will be eligible. Yeah,
so that's where, some people ask us, what is this PMSOL? Does my occupation in PMSOL means that I get an invitation? Not really. If you look at Victoria, they have selected health, medical research, life sciences, digital, agri-food, advanced manufacturing, new energy emissions reduction, and circular economy.
So it's pretty much the GTI target sectors. So if you're working in any of those, this is also the COVID-19, post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan for Australia as well. So if you're working within the target sectors, you can still be eligible. So this is Victoria, this is a very, very, very good migration program. So for an example, if you are working in agri-food, you don't have to be a agri-food consultant. You can be
not an accountant though, because they have mentioned you have to be working using your STEM skills, could be from a different target sector. So it doesn't have to be in that target sector. For example, you could be a software developer working in health. All right, so that's what you need to understand. And also they have mentioned if applicants are using their STEM skills in a business present will be highly regarded. Examples of business presents are Porkville, Footscray, Docklands. So if you're working in one of these business presents in a STEM sector, in one of the target sectors, then you will be highly regarded. So as you can see, it is limited in a way, but it's not limited in the other way. So get in touch with the migration agent could be quite complicated, but before you lodge a ROI, make sure you tick all these boxes. Otherwise, you may be wasting the rest of the visa waiting for an invitation that you're never going to receive. So that's pretty much it for Victoria.
Just also, I've been talking to a couple of clients working and living in Docklands, Footscray area last couple of days. Look, even though you applied, some of them, they have software engineers, and then they have really good points, sitting 90, 95 points, but you're highly likely to get invited. But do not just wait for the invitation to come through and not do anything else about it. Keep working, keep looking for jobs, because general skill migration is not the only way to get through. Sometimes you might have to upskill yourself a little bit, or it's just which part of your visa journey are you in? Are you in last bit of your 485 and few months left? You need to be looking at more than one option.
And I think we'll just go to some of the questions for our listeners who's been listening to us for the
it should be coming up
half
here.
An hour. Oh, really? Okay. So this is YouTube or Facebook?
Yes, for YouTube.
Okay, so now first we are going to go to all the questions in YouTube.
Please make sure you have your subscription button hit by now. So we'll come to YouTube, and of course, if you're in Facebook, please hit that like button. So you start the Facebook, YouTube button.
So I've got Ashan Dulanja. If I'm not wrong, I think you texted us last week as well. Thank you so much for your loyalty and listening to us every week. Software engineer 261313, 10 years Western, is it work experience?
1 year out of 10 years, which is
experience with full-time permanent job contract, 70 plus 5 state points. Is it possible to get an invitation from Western Australia under Schedule 3? Schedule 2, which is a general stream. I believe you didn't study in Western Australia. That's why you have to go under Schedule 3, because Schedule 1 is for Western Australian graduates.
No.
Yes.
Schedule 1 right plus now is for the other medical exam.
So get in touch with us. I think you have a really good chance. to get either 190 or 491, which you haven't mentioned which one you're interested, please email us admin@cirrus.com.au. We will give you a free consultation to discuss about your
Ashan, your majority of
190.
your eligibility criteria hits really well. So 75 points for 190 is good, but the competitiveness, because it's now open for pretty much all around in Australia as well. So 190, 491 also could be another option because it gives you extended points. So you should try both 190 and 491. And if you have job opportunities, keep working. I mean, good thing is you have a full-time permanent job contract. So regardless of the invitation, keep working, because you can also then look at 482, 186 sectors as well.
Yeah,
But
get in touch with us. We will assess your case. I've got Warren
Warren.
here. Hi, Isuru and team. Hope all are good and safe. Yes, we are
Thank
doing
you.
great.
Hi.
Thank you so much. My profession is sales and marketing manager. Applied for 491 visa. Visa or invitation, I'm not sure. I believe he means invitation. My industry is hospitality. How likely will SA or New South Wales will have these positions? Really hard to guess right now, because as you can see, different states are very different from each other when they open with their criteria. So we will wait for a couple of more weeks. We will know exactly what it's going to look like. But sales and marketing, maybe South Australia, yes, but New South Wales, I doubt it.
Warren, you're in a really good position. I know you're more keen about your general skill migration sector, looking at 491, etc. I would like to bring your attention towards the sales and marketing shortage in far north Queensland. Your being in hospitality and sales and marketing management sector, there is a big demand for you in far north Queensland.
Guys,
Please
why
keep
don't-
an eye, and also if you have an opportunity, keep looking for job opportunities over there as well. I'm pretty sure there'll be some incentives coming, or the opportunities coming for tourism and hospitality sector through Migration Queensland this year, this financial year. So keep an eye. South Australia and New South Wales could be an option too, but sales and marketing could have a good opportunity. The average pay is about 120 according to the surveys they put out. But if you can secure a job in far north Queensland, you've got a lot of options available.
And I can see many people who are onshore asking us with their points and all that. Why don't we offer them all a free consultation if they were listening to us right now? And if you have posted a question, and if you're in Australia, mention the code. This is our 24th episode.
Yeah, episode
Just
20.
mention episode
EP.
24. And you will get a free consultation if you're in Australia and if you're interested about skilled migration, okay?
Yeah,
Especially if you have mentioned, if you have put in a question there, we are willing to give you in the next couple of weeks, we will give you a free consultation to plan your EOI. How's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah? Okay.
Before we go to YouTube, let's talk to Vikas Garg from Facebook. Hope you guys all put your thumbs up and subscribe to our, how do you say, like it or be a fan with our
Like, right?
page?
Like, yeah.
Thanks, Maria. So Vikas Garg, if you got 491 visa now while applying for PR after 3 years, what will happen if applicant turns 45?
That's fine.
That's fine.
As long as you got your invitation before you turn 45, that's what it matters. That's what they will look at when you apply for your 191 visa. 191 visa is not a point-based visa anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We'll quickly to Mahmudul Hassan's one. Hi, I'm working as a chef in New South Wales. I have positive skills assessment also. Do I stay in New South Wales or move into other state? Please advise. If you're working in New South Wales, I wouldn't say don't take any rational movements
especially
right
now,
now.
yes.
Yeah, give yourself a couple of
Give
weeks
it
until
a
everyone
month,
comes up with
and
their
then
programs.
you will know. And I think you will be one of the people who qualifies if you mention episode 24. We will give you a free consultation to assess your case and help you with your EOI.
Jamal Kamal, my age is 45 years. Can any chance to immigrate to Australia permanently? Jamal, you're
We
looking
need more
for
specific
yes,
information.
please.
Age
We would
is
love to
good.
answer.
Yeah, well, it limits your skilled migration.
Yes.
State skilled migration, but there are other opportunities. We need to know a lot more about you and your family before we can plan a pathway for you.
Have you got a business background? Have you got a specific prominent background in certain sectors? So that all matters. So talk to us and give us a little bit more background, and we'll give you a better answer. And also, before we go into the next question, we did, I think, last 2-3 days, if I got it, I've got majority of my bookings. So I've done about 8 to 10 bookings a day with my business clients. One of the common questions or concerns they have is some of them, their English might be a little low, but they mostly didn't have specific education background. So when you're applying for business visa, English or your education is not the main concern. So you do not require to have a English background or education background.
Yeah, it's not mandatory. So you could be someone who can't speak English, or you could be someone who just pass year 10. As long as you get 65 points, that's fine. 65
points could be as simple as having a business turning over $2.25 million at the moment. Is it 2.2?
2.25.
$2.5 million, and your assets are over 2.75 million. So it's just gone up a bit from last time. So as long as those two are there, it's 70 points.
Yeah.
So we'll tell you when you call, get in touch with us, how we can present your business plan and how prominent we can, how you can be eligible. So you don't need to have, you don't need to have this specific education or English if you're applying for businesses. And also one other really important thing that I picked up from my investor clients, there used to be a 188B where until end of last year we used to have an option for people who's got a sound investment background. They could come here and invest $1.5 million in that state's bonds and get a default interest rate for 4 years, and after 4 years you become permanent residents. And with that also you could just come here, do whatever you need, you want to do in within the limits as long as it's legal, business, work, whatever, as long as you have that, maintain that 1.5 million in treasury bonds or the government bonds. So this category 188B has been revamped and it's now 2.5 million, but also you cannot just chuck your money into the state government and just wait. You now need to go through the a bit similar to the significant investor, but it's the requirement is minimum of $2.5 million. So for me, I like having the control over my money, so I would sometimes use 188A rather than 188B in this case. But there are also incentives towards these clients where you can have less, where you need less requirement to stay in Australia as well. So it could work better for you. So $1.5 million investment category has been wiped out.
It's gone.
It's gone.
If
So
you're
sad.
lucky you got it, or it's gone.
Yeah.
Now it's
But-
just $1 million difference.
Don't let my clients call me now. $1.5 million investment thing is gone for people who are expected to get an invitation
Who
from
didn't get
1st
an
of July.
invitation. Yeah.
So if you had an invitation and if you already applied for 188B, you're safe. Please don't call me. You're safe.
Okay, I think we will answer about 5 more questions
Yeah.
Before we end the session. And guys, my team's asking how long is this promotion valid for? It's valid for 2 weeks, but do mention episode 24 and mention that you are in this live session and you're currently in Australia looking to lodge your EOI soon, and we will help you with
2 weeks
that.
from 8th of July, so which is 22nd of July.
Okay, then, so pick up the phone and call us. Okay, I'll go to the next question. Hi, can I get 190 in Queensland with 75 points? Social worker. Social worker is a great occupation. It's in PMSOL. It's in highest demand. And I believe I'm 99% sure when Queensland opens, social worker will be there. And you will have a really good chance. So again, get in touch with us. You are going to be one of the people that we give this free consultation to.
Sharia and also Tanu, make sure you're onshore though. Most of these programs aren't available for offshore. So
Yeah.
points is a good thing, but need to be onshore.
Yeah. I've got
Tanu Ratan?
Tanu, 190 ICT Business Analyst, 85 points. So let us know which state you're looking for, but still it's a good occupation and it's a good point, I believe, because when last time Queensland opened, they mentioned they give priority to people with 80 points or more. So 85 is higher than 80, which is again a good thing. Construction project manager, again a really good occupation.
Very good occupation.
75 own points, enough for 190. If you're onshore, all these 3 people, Sharia, Tanu and Satiban, has really good chance to get an invitation in the next round. I've got Silver. Is it possible to get an invitation from outer regional South Australia, and what are the best cities, I believe, in outer regional South Australia? To be honest with you, with cities wise, I don't really have too much knowledge to tell you these are the cities, but it's really easy to get an invitation from outer regional than from the city itself. The requirement is lower.
I think Victor Harbour is one of the outer cities. I can't really
I wouldn't know on
remember
top of
that.
my
But
head.
if you want, just give us a call. We'll go through the list and give you an answer.
I've got Deborah Banik. I am graduated aeronautical engineer in Melbourne, applied for 190, visa 85 points. I have no job now.
189.
As 190 in Victoria needs job, yes. Would it be worth to move to New South Wales? I think you should still wait a little bit more until all the states open and come up with their criteria, because we don't know if other states are going to say that you don't need a job, you just need to be living there. So I think it's a bigger risk, especially New South Wales if you're moving to.
Yeah, if you're going to Queensland, you need to be 3 months for 491.
We don't know. Queensland may open and say you don't need a job.
I don't think so, because Western Australia already said you need to have at least 1 year within last 10 years with a job offer. So it's hard to tell.
For all that matters, they may say for the next 5 days you don't need a job, apply. They can do that if they want. I've got Aruj. I'm a pharmacist and my scores are 90 for 491, 80 for 190, but I am offshore candidate. Could you please tell that there is a chance for candidates like me? Not right now, even when other states open. Western Australia said you have to be in Australia.
Yeah.
Victoria said you have to be in Victoria. So I can't see that happening for offshore candidates anytime soon, simply because the borders are closed. They don't really want people to come to Australia. They want to limit that with the new outbreaks as well. We have one in Sydney right now. We just had one in Queensland. So they are limiting the offshore arrivals to try and contain the virus. That's the only reason. It's not like that we don't like you. I've got Stalin. My student visa is in further assessment stage for 3 months offshore. Do I need to withdraw or continue processing? My uni is forcing to start online and not giving deferment. Maybe you should start online. That shows that you are, you take it seriously and you really want to study.
Most of the universities do offer deferment.
Maybe he already got few deferments. That's why they're asking him to
yes.
start online. So if you really want this visa, I would recommend you to maybe start online to show that your commitment.
Yeah, because that will also allow you to jump in the first flight when they open up for that state, because New South Wales already started getting international students in certain limits in certain countries. So whenever they open up, they'll probably get you in. So, but to be honest, if you think it is, you would rather build up more experience in Australia.
Can you show me all the questions?
And also ESOS Act, you might want to get familiar with, and also go into the refund policies and all that with the university as well. So
okay, I think we will answer about 3 more questions, and I will pick some questions that are most frequently asked. But don't worry, if we haven't answered your questions, they can email us, or we can find their details and get back to them.
No, we can't, because we don't have your email addresses and all that displayed there.
So please email us your question to admin@cirrus.com.au. We really value your questions, but sometimes because of the time constraint, we can't really answer them all, but we will get back to you. So I've got Rohit. Hi, I'm offshore candidate and I'm applying for 482 nomination chef category in January, but it's still in progress. Please tell me the process of 482 visa and nomination. So chef was not in PMSOL before, so by the time you applied it was not, but it is right now. So talk to your migration agent, ask them to follow up with the department and highlight that it is in high demand right now, and maybe get a letter from your employer explaining how important it is that you get this nomination granted. What are they losing by not having you? First, once you get the nomination, with my experience, the visa will be approved quickly, and as long as you fulfill all the requirements. So first the nomination, then the visa application will be processed. Okay, Pramod Reddy, I have 45 points including state, New South Wales. So what are the chances to get 190? I have 1 year experience in network engineering. So I believe you're working in New South Wales for the last year. 85 points is a really good point, network engineer. Get in touch with us. We will offer you a free consultation as well to plan your EOI for New South Wales when they open.
So we've given you the new point test and stuff in the actual comment section.
Yeah.
You can go through. I think we're running out of time. We're really sorry we couldn't get through to all the questions, but we will look forward to catch up with you, get you into common questions. So if not, as Ashani offered just before, we will offer you a free initial consultation if you mention episode 24.
And if you're in Australia and quite ready to apply for your skilled migration.
Yeah, so be in touch. Unfortunately, we couldn't get back to a couple of people.
Yeah, that's fine. But email us. We will get back to you. If not, we will try to answer your questions in the next live session. So tune into the next live session. We will first answer the questions that we couldn't answer from this session. How about that? So
we have also produced some really interesting, very good new videos in business migration, especially 188A and also the 188 business visa point table done by Ashani not long ago. So
and the latest GTI updates done by Isuru. So
Ashani's doing the favor game now. So so keep in touch, and we will be producing some really good informative videos coming up soon. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you're in Facebook, make sure you like us in your Facebook channel, so we'll be you'll be the first one to know as soon as we release one of the informative videos.
And
Until
to,
then,
and to our offshore viewers, I know we are kind of very lucky to be in Australia where the COVID situation is really good. But people, if you're watching from offshore, I know some countries are doing pretty bad and people are suffering. Our thoughts are with you. Please stay safe. Hopefully you'll be safe, and we will see you again next week.
God bless you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.